There's definitely somebody out there that will cry when I show you what I'm about to do, but I'm getting ready for an elk hunt this week. Going out with Dad, and he's got the bull tag this week, so I'm not going to be on an elk until a couple weeks from now. I mean, there's a unit I might be able to get a tag for over the counter, so I'm going to try to do that in the next couple weeks. But for any elk, so it'll be good. It'll be a good hunt. But this is a warm up for me while we're hunting Dad's bull, and I am bringing a backup gun for the hunt. So in case his rifle goes down or whatever, I've got my 7 PRC dialed in, so that if he needs to grab a fresh rifle and go after an animal, if his breaks down, he can grab mine and life is good. But I've been putting my gear together and stuff like that, and hunting out west is a little bit different to where I hunt in the east, like range card wise and distances wise. You're gonna be, you know, encountering a lot of further distances out here, and the shots on game are probably going to be a little further than what I would be normally doing back east, which is, you know, usually 100 yards and in. Everything I've shot at before deer wise and most coyotes and stuff like that, you're within 100, maybe 200 yards. So you don't necessarily need to carry range cards on you with your long range gun or your hunting rifle or whatever out in the East Coast. And even down south in the Smoky Mountains and stuff where I was hunting, the distances were not that great. Our average was, what I was seeing deer at was 50 to 100 yards, and I shot my last buck in Tennessee there at 136 yards, so I didn't need a range card. Now that I'm hunting out west, I've come into a need for a more field expedient range card. I've realized, like, I need to be able to, you know, quickly you know, get my dopes and stuff like that for longer ranges. I need to be able to access that quickly. And digging a phone out of your pocket or whatever app you're using, you know, Kestrel, whatever, is not the most field expedient thing when you're out actually on a hunt. And it's kind of cumbersome to have to try to whip your card out or to whip your you know, your thing out. Oh, there's an animal. Oh crap, let's see, you know, where I'm at, you know. Even if it's at longer range, like 400 or 500 yards, and the animal's not aware of you and you're not moving, and they're not moving that fast, and you've got a little bit of time, it's not always the most convenient thing to have to pull the phone out and do your data. A typical solution to that is to make yourself range cards ahead of time and tape them to your rifle. And I have done that in the past, and it's a very good practice. You can do that. Like, you've got your hunting load dialed in, you've got like a middle range, you know, temperature and velocity, and or temperature and barometric pressure, and, you know, like your altitude, density, and all that stuff. You've got that kind of doped out for your environment you're going to hunt in, and so you make your range card based on that, on the average of what you're probably going to encounter, and you put it on your rifle. But there's also sometimes when you may need to change your dope, or you may need to change your card because environmental factors change really quickly, or they change drastically and dramatically, which actually has happened here in the last week or two a lot. We've gone from 50s, 60s, 70s and dry to 30s, 40s, 50s and wet. And so we're looking at a lot lower pressure, or lower density altitudes, excuse me. Ballistics and stuff like that, even on the 7 PRC, a really flat shooting rifle, they are changing in that environmental change from anywhere from a 1/2 mil to 3/4 of a mil difference in the actual, you know, impact of the bullet at those ranges, at extended ranges, with those environmental shifts. So you may need to, you know, have a quick way to adjust your dope card. And if you're out in the range on game or whatever, or you're out like in the field, say you're at your camp for the night and you've got a big weather pattern shift and you've got to change your dope cards, it's not the most convenient thing to bring a printer with you out there to that environment and reprint a card and put it on your thing. You could print multiple cards out. You could actually dope up multiple cards for your long range rig, like this type of thing, your Western hunting rig, and then put them on your rifle or put them in a bag with you, and then, you know, reference different ones. But that's not always the easiest thing to do for some people, and you may not always have the available option. So this is a field expedient way to actually change your dope card on your rifle, and it will make some people cringe when I show you what I'm about to do. Field expedient dope card. This is what I'm doing right here. I'm actually writing it on my stock, and I've got 2 bullets I'm going with. I'm going with my varmint bullet, which is just like a long range plinking target bullet, and the 0 on both of these bullets is actually really close. I did some cold bore testing with them, and both of them are hitting almost same point of impact at 100 yards. Regardless of the fact that they're 2 different loads going 2 different speeds, they're really close to the same 0. This is my primary 0, which is my hunting round, and I've actually gotten it averaged out. I did my dope card based on the average of about 41 degrees temperatures, which is kind of what we can expect to encounter, 41 to 50, maybe 59 where we're at. And I've written out an actual range card here in 50-meter increments, or 50-yard increments, excuse me, out to 750 yards, which is well beyond what I would ever take a shot with this rifle. And my daddy too, he's like most likely never gonna you know, shoot beyond 400 or 500, maybe 600 yards at an elk with this rifle. In general, this is not his rifle, so he's used to his rifle, he's used to his scope and optic and ammo that he uses and drops and all that good stuff and estimations with his reticles and stuff like that. So if he has to grab my rifle to take an animal with, something he's less familiar with, this will actually make it a lot easier for him to be able to reference a dope card, or me to say, hey, you're on 300, 325, 350, as I'm going to be the scout, you know, the spotter for him. And then I can give him the reference point, say, hey, look up your 350. He looks at that, he looks through the scope, makes a shot. Life is good, without having to think about it too much, without having to count and do all these things and whip out my data card and all this good stuff. So I'm actually doped out and have it written down for 41 degrees for my hunting load with this 175 ABLRs. And now I'm gonna dope out and for my target load, in case we see some varmints or stuff like that. Like if we're out there and, you know, there's coyotes running around or whatever, I'm gonna shoot them. So let's get that going here. I've got them both marked in here, and then I'm using AB Quantum Ballistics app here. Right, so, and I've got this one set up. I'm gonna go ahead and set my varmint round up for 59 degrees so that I kind of have a spread. It'll actually give me a little bit of data comparison between a low temperature, you know, low density altitude, you know, colder round with my hunting load, and then a little bit on the warmer side with my target load, so I can actually look at the difference between the two and reference that. So if I need to make a, you know, swag guess, a scientific wild guess on game at whatever distance, say coyotes out there 600 or 700 yards, I can kind of take the average of the two and say, all right, where am I at for temperature? Roughly around there. Yeah, I'm about in there. Okay, go and see what happens. Coyotes won't matter. Elk is going to matter a lot more, but that's why I'm doping everything very specifically for my hunting load and then a target load just for goofing off. So let's just go ahead and straight write that down on there. Now, this won't work on every type of stock you have out there. If you don't have a light colored stock, you may not, you know, see this working very well, and some people may not just want to do this anyway for their for the rifle, like actually ride on it. But this stuff on these MDT field stocks, they're inexpensive stocks enough, and to clean this dope card up, all you need is a little bit of lacquer thinner or acetone or nail polish remover, which most people will have something like that or similar to that in their emergency kit, or you should for hunting and stuff like that. And you can wipe this off real quick and rewrite a brand new range card out there. It actually works really well. I know it's kind of hinky, but I have done this on a lot of rifles and for a lot of situations and scenarios, and it actually works really well. The printed little cards are nice, and if you can get yourself dialed in with a multiple card print option, like you've got multiple cards printed for multiple density, altitudes, and temperatures, and multiple loads, that's great. And if you want to carry all that around with you, that's cool. But when you're going old school, which this is something I have seen done in the military circles that I ran in, and it works just fine. So yeah, so now see, I can compare the data between the two bullets and how they're flying, because this one's a lower velocity than that one is, and this one's a higher ballistic coefficient bullet as well, so it's flying a little more efficiently. And having a little bit of comparison data there, two different data sets, you could actually, I mean, honestly, you could line up multiple data sets on the buttstock itself and do multiple range cards on here if you wanted to. Like, you've got a lot of real estate on the back of a stock. You also have a little bit up here you could put in for really quick reference. And it works really well, and you don't need a whole bunch of crap hanging off the side of your stock and a whole bunch of cards to have to keep track of. You just need this and get your data done beforehand. All right, that's a freebie for today. A little bit of a ghetto trick there, but it works. You know, hey, some people just aren't that pretentious about their equipment and will just use it and make it work however works best for them in whatever capacity you need to. So this is what I like to do for a field expedient buttstock range card. Just write it on there. Get yourself a marker and write that sucker on there. Don't be scared. You can wipe it off later or paint over it, whatever. All right, I'm gonna be a little bit out of pocket the next week or so doing some hunting. So I'm gonna shoot some video and some footage while we're out there elk hunting, and hopefully Dad is very successful, gets himself a nice big bull, or at least a bull of some kind, and we'll have a lot of extra meat this winter for the freezer. And I'm gonna do my best to document as much of that as I can, put some videos together for that. And if I get myself a tag in the next couple weeks, we're gonna document that one as well when I get out, and hopefully take something down with a 7 PRC. And even if we just get to shoot some varmints and all of that, going about and doing whatnot, that'd be cool too. So we're gonna video that, but I won't be on net much in the next week or two, so video production may be a little spotty. We'll see where we're going. We're camping. We're actually dry camping out there, out in the national forest for a while, for like 7 or 8 days. So we're gonna be off the grid for a little while. We won't have internet access. Uploading videos may or may not happen, but I will catch you guys on the next side. If you are going out for a hunt this week, I know a couple folks I've talked to around here are heading out for hunts themselves in the next week or two. So good luck to you guys out there and happy hunting. Y'all be safe and stay sharp.